times as I got towards the end of the Qur'an where I felt that I was in this presence of this tremendous mercy, this tremendous love and mercy and power. And I had these very powerful spiritual moments. And they would last sometimes for a long periods of time, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
It's hard when you really get into that deep state, and these are the words of the one who's created you. It's like if you read a letter from your long lost mother that you haven't seen, and now you're reading, this is your mother, but this is your creator.
Yes.
So would you suggest for anybody, obviously, who's seeking the truth, that if they come with this with an open mind, a humble heart, that they'll be able to see the same thing that you see, that this is from the creator? That there's no way a man could have authored this book, or any men.
Well, it depends on the individual, of course.
How do you talk to this person who?
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't really come with a humble heart. To the truth. I mean, my position. I mean, if you do believe in God and you do accept that there is a God, then an atheist is a pretty arrogant position. I'm not saying atheists are arrogant, but from the standpoint of a religious point of view, an atheist is an arrogant position. And an open mind, well, I just picked it up out of curiosity. But it hooked me.
Do you recommend now that someone obviously should read this book?
Well, definitely if you're looking for, if you're looking for.
Or why should someone read this book? How would you answer that?
Well, if you're searching for faith in your life, this may be the place you'd like to. I mean, it's worth a look. I don't like to preach to people or proselytize. That's just not my nature. Especially being an ex-atheist, I used to hate it when people used to
kind of
sell their religion to me. So I don't try to sell my religion.
Absolutely,
I just, but I meet many people who are looking, who are searching, and I tell them, if you are searching, then I could share this much with you, and take it or leave it, or take it wherever you want to go.
Do you share a lot of these points in your book?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Tell us a few more questions, and then we'll cut out. Tell us, how has Islam benefited you as a human being? How has it fit and completed your life?
It's interesting. It's an interesting question, and probably many ways more ways than I could count or recall. But I once was asked that question in front of an audience about a few months ago, and it's hard. You're searching through your mind all the ways that it has affected your life. I'd say, well,
how about me? How about I answer, then you go second? Can I answer? I love with myself. Like I said earlier, it's given me light at the end of the tunnel. When you know at the end of the day that there's something beyond this waiting for you, a paradise, that there is a creator that you will be able to meet. We get excited about meeting the Donald Trumps of this world, the Michael Jacksons. Some people, they cry, they pull their hair, But now, can you imagine meeting the one who created you? Sitting and being able to see him and him being pleased with you? And you, all now, throughout life, all he wants from you is to call upon him alone and to do good deeds. You see? And at the end, now, the benefit is, at the end of the day, that paradise that's waiting as a result of being a human being. Because Islam calls you to be good, to bring out the best in you as a human being, right? So how about now?
No, that's not bad. For me, it was, I think the first thing that came to my mind, and this is the truth, is that for the first time in my life, I was able to experience love again. I mean, growing up in a family where you're always worried about the person in your life you love most not being there, or being taken out of it, and also having a father that you grow up you're supposed to love and trust, sort of violating that love and trust. You come not to really believe in love, and you don't let anyone get close. You have to cut love out of your life, because if you let somebody in that close, they're going to hurt you. So throughout most of my adulthood, up until the time I discovered Islam, I could never love anyone.
The love came back now.
Yeah, because I felt, through the experience of prayer and through reading the Qur'an, but especially through this experience of prayer, my early prayers, this overwhelming love. And it brought me to tears on too many occasions. And when I would have these spiritual moments and feel the embrace of that divine mercy, it moved me in ways that I never even thought it could. I discovered a spirituality I didn't even think I had.
So the soul now started to
heal.
Tell me if you agree with me. You don't have to, but if you do, say, oh, you do. All right. I compare it, I make it to like a child A child, if you take it away from his mother,
Yes.
the child starts to whine and cry. But when you give it back, after it's being passed around to all these different hands, he's whining, whining, you give it back to his mother, and now it rests. Did your soul find rest now?
Yeah, well, actually, I found it was a very healing
Healing.
process.
It was like something, that spiritual high, you're calm now, the soul is not the anxiety, and this is what I was experiencing.
Yes, yeah. And then after that, I could love. I mean, now I have a wife right now that I love very much. Of course, I love God.
Alhamdulillah, which means all praises to God. Alhamdulillah.
And I have 3 beautiful children. You know, and I really could never imagine that that would ever have happened, just because of the way, you know, the pain and the scars I had suffered earlier. But it was an interesting one, Mike and Chuck. I remember once after I became a Muslim, I used to love to go to the early morning and then the Maghrib and the Isha, the sunset and the evening prayers a lot. And at that time I understood no Arabic, but I used to love to hear the Qur'an chanted. It was a powerful experience for me. One of the brothers once saw that I was always coming, and he said, Dr. Lang, I see you always coming to those 3 prayers. Why these 3 prayers do you come when you don't even understand what's being recited? And I told him that my answer was immediate. I said to him, why is a baby comforted by his mother's voice?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
You know, because even though he doesn't quite make out exactly the words, it's a voice he's always known.
That's the recitation of the Quran.
Yeah, it felt like a voice I had always known, and that it was always known me. Yeah. You know, and I think it was similar to that. Yeah, but that's...
More points, we'll cut out. You accept Islam, which, real simple, is when one becomes a Muslim, he just makes a declaration that there's none worthy of worship except the creator of the heavens and the earth, and Muhammad is the finality of the messengers, the seal of the prophets. To name 5 for the greats: Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus Christ, and Muhammad, peace be upon them all. It's very simple. So now you accept this, you become a Muslim. You get some hard times now, sister. You start having a tough time just because real simple, because you surrendered yourself to the Creator.
Well, you know, that was a short time after the Marine bombing, bombing of the Marine barracks in Lebanon. And around that time there was also the Iranian hostage crisis.
Yeah.
So Americans were not feeling very good about Islam.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my friends didn't react very negatively. They just slowly drifted away. And
so your friends became non-friends?
Yeah, more distant.
Distant.
Yeah. This was too bad, you know, but I think, you know, I understand. You know, they felt I must have been going through some sort of loss of my mind, or, you know, some sort of personal crisis or something.
But you weren't, actually.
No.
You're just spiritually enlightened.
Yeah,
connected with your Creator.
The same person I was the day before, just I had something new in my life.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, I think it was having a positive impact on me too. But in any case, yeah, they did drift away, and I met new friends, and I met a lot of friends in the Muslim community, and yeah, so there was that, and there was some risk to my career.
Yeah.
Because I was teaching at one of the oldest Catholic universities in America, and they certainly, you know, there were some that weren't comfortable there in the administration with one of their faculty members converting to Islam. They thought it sent a bad message to the, you know, to the...
Did you end up losing that position, or?
No.
No? You're still there?
No, I left there. I got tenured there, and I got promoted.
You got promoted there?
Yeah, and then I did quite well there. And then, but I wanted to move to another part of the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you currently doing now? You're still a mathematician, still down?
Yeah, I'm a professor at the University of Kansas.
You also speak at different conferences, Islamic conferences about Islam, and you're...
Yeah, and I write some books on that subject. Yeah. You know, because also I've been, you know, as any convert does, the Muslims who come from overseas to the United States bring their own sort of cultural
baggage.
Yeah.
A lot of, and we got to understand that Islam is not, it's a variety of people from all different race, creeds, and colors, and a lot of times what you see is not Islam.
Right.
It's an action of some culture that has nothing to do with Islam.
And they have their own cultural slant on Islam.
Yeah.
And so they insist that many things are demanded by their religion that are of questionable nature. And so, you know, that struggle.
Yeah.
You know, the struggle to sort of distinguish between culture and religion, and what is actually required by the religion and demanded by the religion, and what is just more custom or you know, a particular cultural's application. You know, that has been